Hi, I'm Bob Trask. This is our weekly reset. This is where we come together every week to make sure that our consciousness, our idea about ourselves, and our idea about life are all in line with truth. And the truth is really interesting, isn't it? The truth is huge. The truth is, we all have our opinions and our beliefs, but truth is something different. Truth is way beyond our beliefs, way beyond our opinions. The best definition of truth is what is. And what is that you were born and brought into this world unique and special and individual with charms and with attributes that no one else in all of history has. And yet, somehow we doubt that. Somehow we let that slip away. And that's called self-doubt. And today's talk is about dissolving self-doubt. What, what more important thing could we do is dissolve our self-doubt, evaporating self-doubt, evaporate it. Self-doubt's something we're all familiar with. It's that little voice inside, isn't it? That little voice that says, you're not enough, that you can't do it. It's that constantly questioning our personal abilities and our worthiness, and it leaves us to believe that we can't succeed in realizing our dreams. We actually come to believe that. And we're kind of taught that, aren't we? We're kind of taught that by our parents because God bless them. They were raised with the same kind of self-doubt. They were raised to not believe in themselves. They were raised to think that you got to be humble and and take the back seat and don't speak up and remember that you're not a hot shot. You're not some big smarty. So just kind of be quiet and sit in the corner. We're kind of taught that. And yet, they birthed us, and they birthed us as unique individual beings. We're the only ones on the planet. We're the only ones that ever have been or ever will be. And they made that, they brought that human being into existence, didn't they? And yet, they made sure that they quelled that energy, that spirit, that genius. Einstein and a couple of other great thinkers said that every child is a genius until he or she is 6 years old. Buckminster Fuller also said that. Every child is a genius until they're 6 years old. What happens when they're 6 years old? In Japan, I did a lot of work in Japan. In Japan, children are like almost idolized until they're 6 years old. They're almost like they're just almost idolized. They're given everything. All their questions are answered. They're just everything is just yes, 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 yes. And then they start learning that they are not important individuals. They are only important as part of the community. And what they have as part of the community is be quiet. Do you take just be one of a number. There's a whole mass of us here, and everybody stays the same. There's a saying in Japan that the nail that sticks up is the one that gets hammered. Are we that different? Are we that different? Dare we step forward and make our voices heard? Dare we do that? Dare we make our individuality shine? Can't we just shake off that self-doubt like the dirt on our shoe? Can't we just get rid of it? No, because it's so deeply ingrained in us that it's become part of our identity. It's who we are. Dr. Robert Anthony said, you can have anything you want if you're willing to give up the belief that you can't have it. You can have anything you want if you're willing to give up the belief that you can't have it. From our school days, through relationships, through every avenue of life, health and finances, every avenue of life, we've had failures. All of us have. Boy, have I had my share. But do those failures need to define us? Do we let them define us? And in some parts of every one of our lives, the answer is yes. And it may not be overwhelming throughout all of your life, but if there's an area of your life, if for example, um, driving, you made a mistake, maybe you had a wreck or something, and so you said, I can't drive anymore, I can't drive. That's self-doubt. That's saying all of the hundreds and maybe thousands of miles that I've driven, I won't take those into account. I'll just take into account this. I know people who were in relationships and they had marriages and they spent maybe, I don't know, 10, 15, 20, 30 years in that marriage. And they went on vacations and they went boating and they went to the beach and they went to the movie and they went to the opera and they listened to music and they danced and they had breakfast and they had dinner and they had kids and everything was great. And then one of them had an affair or one of them said, I'm no longer in love with you or whatever, and one of them left. And then from that point on, perhaps that person that was left said, I'll never get married again. I'll never have another relationship again. It just doesn't work for me. What do you mean it doesn't work for you? What are you talking about? You had years and years and years of a successful relationship. And right at the end, beep, there was a little boom at the end. And now you're saying you're going to judge the whole thing by that? Like there's a whole lot of wonderful people out there waiting to meet you. A whole lot of wonderful people, men, women, that are saying, gosh, I would love to know you, to be close to you, perhaps to be intimate with you. Doesn't mean making love, it just means being being love with each other, being in that place called love with each other. But a lot of us don't do that. Why? Because that's self-doubt. That's old self-doubt. That old ugly head comes roaring back up into our minds. And so however we got that first stain in our souls, whether it was from religion or from teachers or from parents or past lives, experiences, failures, whatever they are, they're all inaccurate. They're all inaccurate. And yet self-doubt is not terminal. It can't be terminal. We have to be able to get rid of it. We have to go back to that stain that sits in the bottom of your heart, in the bottom of your consciousness, and look at that stain and say, I can get that out now. There may have been a time when I couldn't, but they now have a detergent that'll take that out, something new. And we can do that. And we see it happening around us all the time. Every great person that you can think of, every one of them, just rack your brain right now and bring up 5 great people, famous people that accomplished a lot of things. I'll be quiet while you do that. Okay, now got it. Every one of those had self-doubt, and every one of them moved beyond their self-doubt and made their dreams come true. You might say, well, but my life's different. I've had much more challenges than the average person. And so, I've dealt with clinical depression I've had a lot of, I've been in a mental institution before and you don't know how, you know what? You just take one small step in the direction of your dreams. And every time you take that step, the self-doubt in that step evaporates. And then you take another step and the self-doubt in that one evaporates. And you just keep taking those steps. And when that voice inside says, give it up, you'll never amount to anything. And yet you go on. Does that take courage? Yeah, it takes courage. It takes courage. But courage without clarity is foolhardy. Can you hear that? Can you hear me say that again? Courage without clarity is foolhardy. It's dangerous. It's, in fact, stupid. But if you have clarity, like I have a vision, my vision is that I'm going to do, be, or have this, whatever it is, can be today, can be tomorrow, can be next year, can be for my lifetime. That vision, get clear on it. Get clear on it. Hold it in your mind and have clarity. If you hold it in your mind and hold it in your heart, then you, as an eternal spiritual being, reach that vision out into the universe, and the universe responds. The universe always responds. Jesus, the great master, said, pray knowing your prayers are answered. What was he saying? Don't beg, do an affirmation. Reach out into the universe and say, it is so. But you can't do that if you have self-doubt, because you have to be concrete. That's why it's maybe important to take small visions, small steps at a time, because they're not so scary. But courage without clarity is foolhardy and dangerous and hazardous. But if you can have clarity, then take a step forward. And people who know what they want and have the clarity and courage to take those small measured steps, they erase their self-doubt and they replace it by self-confidence. Confucius, thousands of years ago, said the man who moves a mountain begins by carrying very small steps, very small stones. Can I do that? Do I have a clear vision of what I want that will fulfill my life? And then I take small steps, one after another, to melt my self-doubt? We have two choices, really. We only have two choices. Stay where we are or fulfill our lives. Stay where we are or fulfill our lives. Boy, I'm not asking you to take on a lion. I'm not asking you to take on a tiger. I'm not asking you to do some huge thing. I'm just asking you to take a small step in the direction of your bliss. Gotta tell you a story. Came to my mind when I said tiger. Mary's gonna start smiling now. Mary and well, I was giving a talk in Reno or Las Vegas, I don't remember where, at one of those big hotels. And in between, we decided we'd go down and see the show in the big room. And in the show, a guy came out with a tiger, beautiful tiger. In my mind, I keep thinking it was a white tiger. It could be, maybe that's my mind, but it was a big tiger, a big tiger. And he had that tiger doing wonderful things, and he was treating it with such love. And Mary leaned over to me and she said, I'm going to pet that tiger. And I said, yeah, sure you are. And so, the show was over and they had some more dancers or singers or whatever. And they went away and she said, okay, let's go. And I said, where are you going? She said, I'm going to go pet the tiger. And I said, you can't pet the tiger. She said, I'm going to pet the tiger. So we walked over and we saw somebody at work there. We said, where do they keep the tiger? And he said, oh, well, it's over there behind those doors. So we went over there and there's these big doors, kind of where you drive through, and there's a couple of guards there. And so she's going up to the doors and they said, excuse me, you can't go in there. She said, it's okay, I'm going to go pet the tiger. They said, okay. So I'm going, okay, are you kidding me? So they opened the doors and we went through and we saw two or three people along that long, dark hallway as we were going back there. And they're saying, excuse me, but who are you? What are you doing? Mary just said, it's okay, I'm going to pet the tiger. Oh, okay. And we went all the way back and we came out on this kind of little dock and there's this giant cage and tiger inside. And the trainer's sitting there. And Mary said, and he said, what are you doing back here? And she said, I came to pet the tiger. He said, okay. I'm just trailing along with her like the tail of a kite. And I'm going, what are we doing here? And she pet the tiger. And she pet the tiger. If you have a vision and you take a small step toward that vision, miracles happen. No one, no thing, no law, No, anything can stand in your way. It cannot, because you are one with the universe. You have the power of the universe. And of course, it's natural to feel scared stepping out of our comfort zones and taking risks. Of course, we all know that. But being scared is not only normal, it's also necessary, because fear is energy. And that energy is natural. It's natural, pure energy, and it's given to us as a gift so that we can energize ourselves past the obstacles in life. And without that energy of fear, we'd be unstable to overcome our challenges. Babe Ruth, great Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth hit what, 714 home runs, or I think that was right. And he was just thought of forever, and still in many eyes saw as the greatest baseball player that ever lived. What he pitched, he could pitch. He hit home runs. He played first base. He was just amazing. He was this little fat kid that was an orphan, and 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 the other kids made fun of him. And he was in the orphanage. He was treated by the other kids like, what do you're a little fat stupid kid. And but he could play baseball, and that was his vision. And he went on to become one of the greatest baseball players that ever lived. And he hit 714 home runs, which people say that's amazing. You know what? He struck out over 1,500 times. He struck out more than twice as many times as he hit a home run. And how many times did he foul out or pop out or get grounded out? How many times? 2,000, 3,000 times. And Babe Ruth said this to you and me: don't let the fear of striking out hold you back. Don't let the fear, if he'd let the fear of striking out hold him back, he'd still be a little fat kid somewhere, and he wouldn't be able to do what he did. Think with me of something that will fulfill you today, something that will fulfill you today. Just a moment, and just think of that, and bring to your mind a vision of feeling the confidence and the self-satisfaction of that, because that's the vision. The vision is not just the thing, it's also the feeling that would be around it, the confidence and the self-satisfaction of that. Now, what's stopping you? What's stopping me? Isn't it our self-doubt? Yeah, one, we can have all kinds of excuses. Well, I don't have time. I've got to do this. I don't have time, and not only that, but I'd have to go to the store and get some baking soda because I'm out of baking soda, and so and I don't know if that store's open. I'd have to go to another store. We got all these excuses. Those are all parts of the self-doubt. So let's just say I'm going forward. I'm doing it, and then isn't immediately that fear turning into energy? And instead of a negative, we see it as a gift. And it's a gift of love. Energy is just love. It's just love. It's just love. If we see it like that, and we use that energy, then we go forward into that vision, into that goal with a smile on our face, feeling filled with energy, filled with love. But you know what? We're afraid of fear, aren't we? And when we're afraid of fear, we get paralyzed by it. And then our lives are forever less than they were supposed to be. But you and I can't do that. We can't do that. We got a chance. We got an opportunity. We're here on planet Earth. We're in these bodies. We have these minds. We have an opportunity. Judy Blume said, each of us must confront our own fears and come face to face with them. How we handle our fears will determine where we go with the rest of our lives, to experience adventure or to be limited by the fear of it. So what do we do? How do we do that? Number one, we surround ourselves with powerful influences. Who do you know that's powerful? Who do you know that's a powerful influence? And I'm going to tell you something. Call that person up and talk to them on the phone. Now, you don't have to bug them. If it's me, if I'm that person, call me up. Just say, just called up to get a hit. And I say, all right, you got a hit. I love you. Go for it. Just call someone. Call Mary. Call someone. Text someone. Surround yourself with positive influences and get positive affirmations and quotes. I am all I am ever I'm all I ever dreamed of being. I am all I ever dreamed of being. Something, some affirmation. I don't care what it is. You need help in getting that? Let me know. I'll help you with it. Get an affirmation. Say it all the time. Put it up on your mirror so that every time you look in the mirror, you have to read it. And form a support team of friends who see your potential, even when you don't. And what does support team do? They see us as we truly are. They don't see our self-doubts. They see who we are. And you know what? The main reason for self-doubt is that we've never seen ourselves in action. If you could have just backed off and watched yourself through your life and watch how you overcame obstacle after obstacle, watch how you overcame fear after fear. If you could have just seen yourself winning all the time and loving all the time. At the World Olympics, 400-meter race, the leaders all rounded the last turn and headed to the finish line. Quincy Hall was buried in fourth place. Ahead of him were the supposedly fastest runners of the world. The people who were rated the fastest in the world were ahead of him, and he was buried behind him in fourth place. He was a full 5 meters behind those fastest runners. And they were, and at that point, the audience thought there was no chance in the world for him to come forward. Maybe, if he really increased his speed, if he really got his act together, maybe he could get ahead of that next guy and come in, and maybe even the next guy. And maybe he could win a bronze medal, maybe. But he was clear about his goal. He went to the Olympics to win a gold medal. They came around that last turn and they're heading for the home stretch, and he's buried in fourth, but his mind is clear. His intention is clear. He knows who he is and he knows what he's doing there. He knows. and he sees what he needs to do, and he's filled with determination, and he's filled with confidence. Where did he get that determination and confidence? He got it over the years of taking one step at a time, of getting into races that he thought he couldn't win, of going up against stiffer and stiffer competition, and winning and winning and winning and winning. He shocked audiences all over the world as he crossed the finish line in first place, beating the fastest in the world. I just won, he laughed. It's over, and I'm an Olympic champion. I just love that. He could never have done that without determination and without a support team. And nothing on this planet is worth doing unless we have a support team. We have to have people who believe in us. We need other people who keep reminding us that we can step forward into our light. The journey towards self-belief depends on these things: determination and a support team. Then we go forward one step at a time. So starting today, let's step through our fears and win. Shall we? Shall we? And then life will become easier and more fun because there's really no other choice out there. Is there? And if we can start today to step forward, every little step we take will bring us closer to the wonderful life we deserve. Can we? Of course we can. Of course we can because we're champions. We've just not entered the race yet. Mary Kay Ash. Do you know who she is, Mary Kay Ash? She's the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. Oh, boy, talk about a successful program. She said, aerodynamically, the bumblebee is not able to fly. But the bumblebee doesn't know that. So it goes on flying anyway. It doesn't know it's not able to fly. With those little wings and that big body, there's no way that thing can fly. But it doesn't know that. So you don't know. Just don't allow yourself to know those things that you think are flawed. Because those are erroneous beliefs. Don't have those personal limitations. Step through them. Very few of those personal beliefs are based on truth. They're all just old opinions, and they're all based on worthless hypnotic programs that were just pumped into us. Don't do that. Vincent van Gogh said, if you hear a voice within you that says you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. So we're each climbing our own mountains, aren't we? And that mountain is life. We came here to climb this mountain. We came here to test ourselves, to learn that how unlimited we are. We came here to learn that that's why we're born. World famous mountaineer Edmund Hillary, the first man to reach the South Pole, and the first man with his guide to reach the top of Mount Everest, said it's not the mountain we conquer, it's ourselves. It's not the mountain, it's ourselves. He would tell us today that we're supposed to be embracing the gift of fear and harnessing our energy for fuel for building splendid lives, for climbing the mountain. And here are words from three powerful leaders just to finalize my talk today. Napoleon Hill, you know who he is, wrote Think and Grow Rich. He's just great man, great thinker who set almost all of the great motivators, inspirers, great people all look back on Napoleon Hill as the guy that got him started. And he said this, don't wait. The time will never be just right. Today is the day. Also, Oprah Winfrey, and we certainly know who she is. She said you can either waltz boldly onto the stage of life, live the way you know your life is nudging you, or you can sit quietly by the wall, receding into the shadows of fear and self-doubt. And finally, one of my heroes, Christopher Robin. Know where Christopher Robin is? In Winnie the Pooh. Christopher Robin said, always remember that you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Always remember, and these are my words to you, that you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. You can do it. If you can dream it, you can do it. And if you do it, if you take a step toward it, you'll start fulfilling your life and feeling a joy you've never felt before. Today, let's go forward. Today, let's take just a little step in the direction of our dreams. The dream, maybe not of what I'm going to do with my entire life, maybe what I'm just going to do today. I'm going to make a big batch of cookies, and they're going to be my own special cookies, and then I'm going to give them away to friends. I don't care what it is. Something that will bring you bliss. Do it today. Thank you for watching. Now, here's what I'd like for you to do, if you don't mind. I'd like for you to bring other people to this. I'd like for you to share this with your friends. I'd like for you to have other people come and join us. And they can come and join us on Sunday morning at 9 or 11, or they can go on YouTube to Bob Trask's weekly resets and watch the older ones. But let's get people going here. Let's get a crowd. And then also, will you go to bobtrask.com and hit the little donate button and leave a little work, leave a little gift so that Mary and I can keep this work going on in the world? I so appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Now, go through your week with my blessings and my love and be who you came here to be. Thank you. I love you.